Today, we're putting in a fig orchard. We recently acquired an 1.5 acres that joins up to the back of our property. My neighbor sold me an additional 1.5 acres to help me with my dream of wanting to have a fruit tree orchard. On the very back side of the fruit tree orchard that we're putting in today, we're putting in our fig tree collection. Currently, I have about 65 varieties that are stuck out in rows behind me. The first thing that I did is I brought my long 100-foot tape measure and I measured 10 feet from the fence and 10 feet from this fence. The camera is currently in the corner of the property, the back side of the property. And I put in my first fig tree right here, which I chose was going to be Galecia Negra. So that's going to be my first tree. And my trees are 12 foot apart in an offset pattern. So I just went down one row, and every 12 foot I put a flag. And then I came back and I put pots. And then I go 12 feet over from the next row, 6 feet in, and then started putting trees in every 12 feet so that I get that offset pattern that I just mentioned. We currently have 4 rows laid out, and I run out of flags because I've got flags outlining the garden over there. And over on this side, we've got our apple orchard that's starting, and I've got flags laid off that way for my apple and my pear collection. I've almost got all my figs to where I can put them in ground. I've got a few more that are being rooted in pots, but as soon as I get good roots on them, they're going to grow in the ground. It's currently February 26th. It's going to be 82 degrees today, and some of my figs are starting to leaf out, so it's time to hurry up and get them in the ground before they really start wanting to spread their roots. I want to get them in the ground nice and early so they have a full season to establish themselves before next winter comes and really challenges them. So I got my auger out here today, and most of my pots are 3-gallon pots, and using my 6-inch auger with a circulating motion as I'm drilling makes a hole wide enough that I can put the full 3-gallon pot down in there. I'm not worried about breaking up the soil. We have nice, about a foot thick of nice loamy topsoil here, and it's not compacted. It's you could almost dig through this topsoil with your hand. So if we were dealing with something heavier, then I would probably get a shovel out and I would dig bigger holes and then backfill them around the plants as I was putting the plants in to make sure that the plants had plenty of loose soil to establish their roots in. But that's not the challenge here that we're facing. Let's go ahead and get started. Oh yeah, one of the things I forgot to mention is every pot that you see out here is a different variety of fig. We're going to go along and we're going to show you every variety that we have a little later on, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. This one is Negridae ogdae. Fits perfectly down in the hole. Now we can come back and water inside this little cup in this water. This is probably Michelle's favorite variety. It's a St. Rita. I have to agree, it's an excellent variety. Campaneri, another great one. This one's probably ranked in the top 10. This is Italian 258. I've actually been growing this one in pot for 2 years, so I'm sure it's glad to go in the ground. I'm glad to see it go in the ground. Before it gets too much later, we're already starting to get evening shadows across the orchard here. I wanted to share with you how we're laying out our orchard. I got a 100-foot tape and a 25-foot tape. The first thing I did is I went to this first corner post down here, and I knew that I wanted my border around the fence 10 foot wide. So I took my little tape measure and I measured out 10 foot and 10 foot in the other direction and found where my first flag was going to go. After that, I hooked my long tape to the fence at the 10-foot mark, and I stretched it 100 feet, went to the other end, and then pulled my tape 10 feet, and then lined this up perfectly straight. We're already 4 rows deep, so I'm going to give you a little demonstration about what it looks like. Now I'll just move all my tapes down to the end of my row and repeat what you just saw me laying out right there. All right, that's how we laid out our orchard. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna put in our last 4 pots. I've got some cuttings in my Florida room that are still establishing roots. Once I feel comfortable that they're a sturdy enough transplant, we're gonna be putting them out here where these flags are. Some of these flags are gonna be staying in place. I don't know how that's gonna work with cutting the grass, but this is our rows. If we have to take them up to cut the grass, I know how to pull the bases and put my flags back down when it comes time to start planting out my additional transplants. The first one we planted in the orchard is Galacia Negra. Yellow Bypass, Peter's Honey, Stella. The sister to Stella would be Nordland. Negra de Agde. Nuestra Senora del Carmen. One of my favorites, Smith. This one is said to be cold hardier than Smith. This is Texas BA1. You can never have too many Smith figs. It's the only one I planted duplicates of, probably because it's one of my favorites. Called Adam Noir. I know you can't see it, but it's down there. This is Col d'Adam Blanc. This is a striped Col d'Adam variety. This is Col d'Adam Ramada. LSU Purple. LSU DC6. DC stands for dead cat. I like to make that known. That's just funny. Another LSU variety, St. Gabriel. We moved this LSU Scots Yellow from the front orchard, rooted a cutting, and put a copy out here in our orchard. LSU Scots Black. Time for our Black Madeira varieties. Regular Black Madeira. Black Madeira tissue cultured. And our last Black Madeira variety, this is Figo Preto. BI 39. Picked this one up from Lowe's. This is Olympian. No collection is complete without Violet de Bordeaux. Patsy's Pride. De la Gloria. Yellow long neck. Straight out of the gate this year, we got Dr. Dewadi really showing out. This is an Israeli fig. Another Israel variety. This is Israel Red. This is a variety that was given to my friend David the Good. His friend was from Croatia. It's not a named fig. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but I just named it Croatian David the Good. We'll see. Figure de Soles. Colonel Littman's Black Cross. Thermalito. Exquisito. Creme de Fragola. Cherry Cordial. This one's Bergen Unknown. Del San Juan Grand. Nebo. BB10. Chicago Hardy. Marseille Black VS. Red Lebanese Bekaa Valley. Michelle's favorite, St. Rita. Black Zadar. From my front orchard, Adeleo's Purple. Campaneri. Italian 258. Barbantane. Lampira. This one always grows like a rock star. This is Sunrise. Honey Plum. Another one from the front orchard. This is Alma. Drap d'Or. Sister Madeleine's Dark. I sure hope it hangs in there. Rockaway Green. Green Ashia. White Madeira #1. Paradiso Bronze VS. This is a male capra fig that I'm going to use later for breeding. I'm going to collect the pollen. This one is Striped Butler. G. Neary. White Marseille. All right, we're going to round out the road. This is it for our in-ground fig tour. This one's Lemon. I hope you enjoyed the video. We invite you to hit the subscribe button and become a follower. Hit the like button and share out on social media if you really enjoyed it. Remember, keep growing, keep building, and always keep adventuring. Together, we're Flemington Famous. We'll see you next time.